Welcome to today's deep dive. We are thrilled you're joining us for this one.
Yeah, we really have a fascinating topic lined up for you today.
We do. So our mission today is to explore a text that, honestly, it kind of fundamentally challenges how we view our own existence.
Oh, absolutely. It's a highly provocative piece.
Right. It's a text by Su Feng, and it was translated by Kinyu and edited by Peter. And just the title sets a massive stage. It's called Life and Death Are Only Images. There is neither life nor death in life.
I mean, that is a bold thesis right out of the gate.
Exactly. And our goal today is to unpack that central thesis, the idea that life and death are not, opposites sitting at the ends of a straight line.
Right, like a start line and a finish line.
Yeah, instead it's a continuous, interwoven cycle. What if life and death aren't a straight line, but more like a loop, where life is death and death is life?
It's a profound shift in perspective. To visualize it, you really have to think outside of binary terms.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because I like the analogy of holding a strip of paper, right? You give it a half twist and tape the ends together. You've just made a Mobius strip.
Right.
And if you take a pen and start tracing a line along the center of that loop, you eventually end up right back where you started. You've drawn on the inside and the outside without ever lifting your pen.
It's a great geometric way to look at it, but the text doesn't just leave it as abstract math. It grounds this in a really ordinary observation.
Yeah, a 21-day-old chick inside an egg.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. That chick pecks at the shell entirely by instinct. It doesn't know how thick the shell is.
Right.
It doesn't even know if breaking through is physically possible or what vast world exists outside. It just pecks.
And the text argues that a human baby crying at birth is a very similar, unlearned instinct. It claims the baby cries because, quote, life is bitter.
Yeah, that line really sticks with you. The author suggests these instincts aren't just, random evolutionary quirks.
So what are they?
Well, the text claims they're deliberately embedded into all biosomes, all living vehicles, by a higher life. It points to a grand cycle where nothing truly ends. It just transitions.
Okay, so to prove this cycle is real, the text tackles three key questions, right? Do we have past lives? Do we have an afterlife? And, how does the actual transition work?
Precisely. And to answer that first question about past lives, we have to look for evidence of the before.
Right, tracing that Mobius strip backward. And the text builds its case using some pretty fascinating historical examples of reincarnation.
Yeah, the Shanti Devi case from India in 1926 is a major one.
Right, so at 7 years old, she inexplicably starts recalling living in Mathura. She says she was a woman named Luki, had a husband and 3 kids.
And at first, her parents just assume it's childhood imagination. But then when she's 9, a visitor comes to the house.
And she just immediately recognizes him, right?
Yeah, she identifies him as her former husband's cousin from Mathura. And he confirms it.
That's wild, and that's what got a special investigation committee involved. They physically took her to Mathura.
And the details she knew were staggering. She spoke the local dialect, navigated to a specific house, and even recognized her former husband's father and her children.
Wow. And it's not the only story. There's the one about Swarata Michaud. He was just a guy on a bike ride who pointed out a house he'd never visited in his current life.
Yeah, and he recounted decades-old events that the locals actually verified. The text even notes he's reportedly resurrected 3 times.
3 times. And then there's Gaspiel, a teenager who woke up in his coffin.
Right, that one is intense.
Yeah, he wakes up and suddenly knows everything about Yaki, a man who had died that exact same day in a village 35 kilometers away.
It's fascinating, but, it's easy to look at singular anecdotes and dismiss them as folklore or coincidence.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because the text pushes past just childhood anecdotes. It points to highly formalized institutional processes.
Right. It brings up the selection of the Tibetan Panchen Lama. This is an entire centuries-old institution operating on the premise that reincarnation is a structural reality. It's exactly. Moving from mysterious memories into actual institutional governance.
The rigor they apply to this search is incredible. The text details the search for the reincarnated soul boy of the 9th Panchen Lama.
And they found a boy named Wendu Gongbao Kaiden.
Well, eventually. What's interesting is that the first boy they chose, Kanjilongo Gatso, actually died suddenly of an illness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the Panchen Kenpo Conference Hall interpreted that as proof he wasn't the true reincarnation. So they had to do this highly specific ritual.
Right, the Sampa balls.
Exactly. They put the names of 5 remaining boys into balls of roasted flour dough, put those in a gold bottle, and shook it publicly until a name popped out.
And that's when Wendu's name emerged.
Yes. And during testing, he accurately picked out the previous lama's utensils. But even crazier, out of a huge crowd, he recognized a man named Gajin Pasang.
And that was a man who used to sing for the previous lama. So this kid had literally no way of knowing him.
Right. What's fascinating here is how the text uses this to argue that past lives are a tangible, verifiable phenomenon. Okay, but this leads to an obvious question for you, the listener. We aren't all Dalai or Panchen Lamas with these vivid, verifiable memories.
Most of us definitely aren't.
So how does this infinite loop affect us, like, in our daily lives right now?
Well, the text argues that the before leaves an indelible mark on your present. Your current quirks, fears, and preferences are actually clues to your past lives.
It's kind of like having a digital browser history that you can't quite clear.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
Yeah, you get a brand new computer, a new biological vehicle, but your cloud account still has all these cookies from your past browsing sessions. And they're subtly influencing the targeted ads of your current personality.
I love that. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the text is basically providing a diagnostic guide for those subconscious cookies.
So what do these cookies look like in practice?
Well, it depends on which realm you came from. If you frequently experience déjà vu, the text says that means your immediate previous life was human.
Okay, that makes sense, a geographical echo.
Right. But if you have an irrational love or a deep, unexplainable fear of certain animals, the text claims your previous life was an animal.
Wow, that completely reframes how we look at common phobias.
It really does. And it extends to higher realms, too.
Hmm.
Let's say you harbor a deep hatred for human selfishness, and you walk around feeling like you just don't belong here.
Like an alien in your own life?
Yeah, exactly. According to the text, that means you were a celestial in what it calls the 1,000-year world, or the 10,000-year world.
So you're reacting to the density of this world because you're used to a lighter existence.
Precisely. And there's an even higher realm, the Elysium world.
What's the browser history for that?
The text says if you have a natural aversion to meat, an innate affinity for Buddhism, and a gentle nature, you likely descended from the Elysium world.
A literal hangover from a realm of absolute peace.
Yes.
Okay, so we've explored the before and how it affects the present. But what happens when we hit the transition point of death? What's the after?
To explore that, the text looks closely at near-death experiences, or NDEs. It actually cites the International Association for Near-Death Studies, specifically the NDERF database.
So it's grounding this in documented accounts.
Yes, and the author notes that a true fact they experienced 20 years ago prompted their own deep exploration into this.
The quotes from these NDEs are just striking, like the one where a person describes transitioning from a happy darkness to bright sunshine.
Yeah, another account talks about a tiny star appearing and rapidly expanding into a radiant dawn sun, and looking at it brought them unparalleled peace.
And there's that other wild account of someone floating above themselves, watching doctors tossing their dead body around to revive it.
Right, they're watching their relatives crying, but they feel absolutely no sadness, just peace.
But the text is careful to point out that it's not all sunshine and peace, right? It includes some pretty terrifying negative NDEs.
It does. It has to show the polarity. It quotes someone who felt trapped in a nightmare with countless ghosts trying to claim their life.
Oh, and the massive black tornado bearing down on them.
Yeah, just paralyzing terror until some mysterious force pulled them back into their body.
So why are these experiences so drastically different?
To explain that, the expert underlying philosophy comes into play. The text posits that only 2 things in the entire universe are truly eternal:
Which are?
energy and life. Without energy, life has nothing to attach to. A dying body is literally just a vehicle breaking down.
So physical matter is entirely secondary.
Exactly. The text actually quotes the Yellow Emperor's book of the Hidden Talisman. It says, "Life is the root of death, and death is the root of life."
Meaning you cannot step into 2 rivers at once.
Right. It gives this stark example. A dog must die so a human can be born. The spiritual vehicle is a closed loop.
Okay, so if the soul transitions like this, dropping one vehicle for another, what determines where it goes next? Is it just random?
The text is very clear. It is absolutely not random. It is entirely based on cause and effect.
So karma, basically.
Yes, but a highly structural version of it. The author uses an aging photo analogy to explain this.
Right. If you compare photos of yourself daily, you see absolutely no change. But over a year, the difference is stark.
Exactly. The author calls this death in life. We are gradually dying every single day, but we don't notice it.
And this gradual physical change mirrors the spiritual one.
Precisely. To quantify this, the text introduces the concept of the life bank.
Oh, I love this part. It's like an absolute karmic ledger.
Right. If you squander your spiritual savings through negative actions, you run a deficit. And that spiritual bankruptcy forces you to reincarnate into the animal world.
So you have to hoard positive equity to move up. The text says achieving perfect humanity gets you to the 1,000-year world.
But becoming a Buddha requires an entirely different level of commitment.
Yeah, you have to voluntarily give up everything. Money, fame, eating meat, even engaging in disputes.
Every action is a deposit or a withdrawal. But here's the critical part. How does the universe process that ledger when you die?
So what does this all mean? The text introduces this thing called the color scanner.
This raises an important question, right? Is this meant to be literal?
Well, the author claims that at the exact moment of death, your central nervous system's neurons form structures that emit specific colors, and those colors dictate your soul's destination.
It's like scanning a barcode, and the text provides a very specific color key.
Okay, let's run through it. If it's colorful,
That's the highest tier. The 10,000-year world,
purple,
the Elysium world,
red, green, or blue,
the 1,000-year world.
white.
That means you're maintaining your frequency, you'll return to the human world.
What about a faint dark color?
That indicates a deficit in the life bank. You're heading to the animal world.
And if the scanner reads black,
You're actively descending into the netherworld, the frozen layer or the inflaming layer.
so are we supposed to believe in a literal color scanner? Or is the text using this as a vivid metaphor for how lifelong karma physically imprints on our biology?
Honestly, whether it's literal or metaphorical, the text is emphasizing the exact same point. Sudden results are always the product of gradual, daily choices.
Just like a tadpole gradually becomes a frog.
Exactly. Our daily actions permanently restructure our fundamental being.
Which brings us right back to the Mobius strip. We started with a chicken and egg, just pecking out of unlearned instinct.
We explored how our current phobias might be past life browser cookies.
We travel through near-death tornadoes and dawn suns.
And we ended up at a colorful brain scanner. It's a continuous loop.
Like the Seth quote from the text, "Death is not the end of life."
It's just a transition to the other side of the paper.
That is profound. And as we wrap up today, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
Yeah, if our current quirks and phobias are the unexplainable instincts we brought with us from past lives.
What daily habits and attitudes are you building right now? Because those will become the inescapable instincts of your next life.
What color are you programming your brain to emit?
Such a powerful question to end on. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, stay endlessly curious.